Good morning and welcome to Carolina Cares, an iHeartMedia production. And, when you think about maybe Mayberry RFD, the Andy Griffith Show, times maybe a little simpler. It's funny that you think about, man, that was a million years ago where kids could walk down the street and you didn't have to lock your doors. Well, it turns out that it's not really perhaps a million years ago. It's merely about 20 miles up the street. Today on Carolina Cares, we are going to speak with the mayor of Little Mountain, South Carolina. Yes, right up there in Newberry County. We'll learn a few interesting fun facts like, did you know that Little Mountain wasn't always in Newberry County? Yeah, we're going to find out the story behind that. And of course, the Little Mountain reunion, after a couple of hiatuses, did come back. We're going to learn the story behind that as well and talk with the mayor of Little Mountain, Mayor Jayna Jayroe, this morning on Carolina Cares. Stay with us. We will start that conversation in just a few minutes.
Major key alert, don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Carolina Cares. I'm Tyler Ryan, your host this morning. And this morning it is my pleasure, and I'm really excited to welcome the honorable, because you have to say that, the honorable mayor of the big metropolis of Little Mountain, about 300 people strong, Mayor Jayna Jayroe. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic, Mayor. Welcome to Carolina Cares.
Thank you.
I'll say it right out. I love Little Mountain. I had the opportunity to spend a couple of days with you a few years ago at the television station, and it is such a cool little town, isn't it?
Thank you. I think so. I think it's a wonderful place. We consider ourselves a village, and we try to keep the village atmosphere where you can have a larger yard and children can still ride their bikes. You can walk to school. We can walk to the elementary school.
Right.
You can walk to church. You can walk to the post office. We love Little Mountain.
And I remember, actually, those are the fond memories I have of coming there was walking down to the school, checking that out. And it was kind of neat. It felt like a kid again, right? It almost feels like you go back in time. Now, Little Mountain is in Newberry County. And originally, it wasn't. Originally, it was actually part of Lexington County, wasn't? I'm talking like a bazillion years ago, or the 1800s.
And then I'm not sure exactly why, but they redrew the lines, and we ended up in Newberry County. But we are right there on the border.
Sure, and you're near Chapin, you're near Prosperity, kind of in that little
Yes.
nook of the area.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of Little Mountain. Let's see, you're the mayor, you better know the history, right? Tell me about how Little Mountain came to be.
It was originally called Ruff's Mountain, R-U-F-F. It was farmland.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm not sure exactly why the name changed, but a man named Mr. Noah Boland bought a good deal of property around the area, and he started to sell off lots. He's the one that had the first post office put in. The railroad already came through, so he had a depot built so the train would absolutely stop in Little Mountain, which helped us tremendously.
And that's one of those iconic things that I think when you first roll into town, I see the depot is right there, and you cross over the railroad tracks, too.
That's not the depot. That is actually the section master's house.
Oh, see?
Yes. There were originally the Clinton, Newberry, Lawrence line built homes for their section master.
Okay.
I think there used to be 10. Well, there's only one left. And it's in Little Mountain.
And that's it. Does anybody live in it now?
No, right now it's a gift shop. So.
That works.
Yeah.
That works as well.
It's a historic property. So the outside looks the same. The inside through the years has had some changes.
Sure.
It's a gift shop.
It starts out, so they put the little house up for the station master, making the train stop that's coming through. Of course, back in the 1800s, that was the primary way you got around was by train.
Yes, you could take the train to Columbia. You could take the train for a day trip. You could take the train to Newberry, and you could go all the way to Charleston, but that was a long ride back then.
Sure.
And then they put in the post office, which you absolutely at that time had to have, and the train. I don't know if you've seen in the movies where the train had the big hook. You could hang the mail bag, and the train would go by and pick up the mail coming and going, and that was how the mail got around.
So the Pony Express did not stop in Little Mountain, is what you're saying?
It did not.
Fair enough. And so that's in the late, I guess the late mid-1800s?
To the early 1900s,
okay.
Yes. We had the same post office there.
My goodness, great. Now, what was the population of the town back in those days? Was it bigger? I know I read something where the town's gotten a little smaller. It's obviously any town does, goes up and down through the years. Yes. Not incredibly so.
No, we haven't changed a lot. I think our lowest point was probably 200 people back, I would say in the 30s.
Okay.
So when it was hard for anybody to find a job.
Oh, yeah, my gosh.
Times were very
Sure.
rough.
I see on the Wikipedia page, and it has to be true because it's on Wikipedia, that 1910 there was a booming 440 people.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Big doings in Little Mountain, right?
That's it. There you go. That was probably the heyday of the train ride, too.
That's right.
And the Little Mountain reunion was going on then.
So, yeah, we are going to talk about the Little Mountain reunion as well, coming up in less than a week. And we're going to spend some time on that, but that certainly was going on as well. Speaking with the mayor of Little Mountain, South Carolina, Miss Mayor Jayroe, the Honorable. So tell me about kind of the way the town's laid out. You've got, obviously a couple hundred residents, some schools, or a school, I guess the elementary school.
Yes, Little Mountain Elementary.
And you've got a bunch of great businesses, too.
Yes, we have the Little Mountain Unlimited, which is an antique mall. You can go in there on any given Saturday, and you will hear no one with a Southern accent. It is such a big draw from all over. It is a fantastic place to shop. Sure. The owners, Karen and Doug Quinn, they do a great job. They bring in new stuff all the time, new old stuff.
Right.
And it is just a lot of fun to shop. You can spend hours there.
And that's one of those antique malls where the folks bring in their own, they kind of rent a booth rental kind of thing.
Yes.
And then I know there's a restaurant in there. We ate in there. That was a lot of fun as well.
Yes.
Super good food. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
There's just so much neat stuff to do. What about the infrastructure of the town? So you've got, you're the mayor.
Yes.
You've got, how is it a strong council, a strong mayor system?
We have a strong mayor system. Okay. I have 4.
So you're the boss.
Yes, I'm the boss, which some days is good, some days bad. But the buck stops with me in Little Mountain. So that's
And there it is. You can write that down.
Yes. But I have 4 council people who are fantastic. I would have a hard time getting it done. Mm-hmm. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is no matter how big or small your town is, there's a certain amount of work and meetings required.
Right. So
you can be a huge town or you can be a little bitty town, and sometimes the little bitty town has almost as much work as the big town.
Sure.
So it is public service. It does take some time and willingness to listen and try to figure out what's best for your community, which is what I try to do.
Now, you've been the mayor. You're in the middle of your second term.
Yes.
Now, so about 6 years, give or take. We were trying to figure that out.
Yes.
About
6 or 7. My first term, the gentleman who was mayor before me, he lost the election. The person he lost the election to decided not to become mayor because his spouse was ill.
Okay.
So there was a year in there when the mayor pro tem was the mayor.
Right.
No one, after a year, I was like, I have a town that I really like. I have a business in town. I have people I enjoy. Somebody needs to be the mayor. So I put in a petition. I was the only person to put in a petition. So I became mayor. Mm-hmm. So that was 3 years. And then when those 3 years were up, I was the only one again who put in another petition. So I became mayor again.
Something that's working, right? I mean, it sounds like the folks in Little Mountain are pleased.
Well, thank you. I like to think so. I'm having a great time with it, so I'm hoping they are too. I've enjoyed the problem solving. I've enjoyed meeting new people. I've learned a lot of things I did not know, which I always enjoy learning new things. Sure. So that's been great.
What about the rest of the town's services? I assume there's a volunteer fire department of some sort?
Yes.
A police department?
We do not have police. We depend on Newberry County Sheriff's Department, Lee Foster, which is wonderful.
He is a wonderful sheriff.
Yes, he is a wonderful sheriff, and we have a great relationship with them, so I don't want to change anything that's working really well.
Right.
We have a volunteer fire and rescue group, which is fantastic. Those men and women work hard. They do a lot of training. They will get up in the middle of the night when that siren goes off. They are wonderful people. And they are actually the grand marshals this year of the parade at the Little Mountain Reunion because we wanted to find some way to thank them for what they do.
You know, and that goes to a lot of, and I think it's something in order, my numbers may be a little off, Mayor, but something in order of 70% of fire departments across the country are actually volunteer fire departments. You know, we in the city of Columbia, you've got a full-time department in Lexington. There's a lot of full-time departments around, but the majority of fire departments in this country are more rural towns, and they're all volunteers. And that,
yes.
And so they're giving their time, but they're not training any less just because you don't work for a big city and full-time, and you're still training. You still go to the academy, and frankly, it's your time. You're not even getting paid to do it.
That's right, and This day and age, there is a lot of training required. And these people do it just out of dedication to community and love of others. And it's just wonderful to have those people in our community.
I think that's fantastic. Speaking with Mayor Jayna Jayroe from Little Mountain, South Carolina, a little jewel in Newberry County. Tell me about you. Where did you grow up in Little Mountain? Or are you an implant, as they say, as I am? I get reminded of that most of the time.
Well, I was born in Missouri. My parents were in graduate school when I was born, so I lived in married student housing till I was 7.
Right.
So I feel like that enabled me to meet a lot of different people and enjoy meeting them and enjoy a variety of opinions and people, which I still enjoy.
Sure.
When I was 10, my father took a job at Newberry College and became a professor there. And I lived in Newberry until my 20s when I married and moved to Little Mountain. So.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
That's it.
What is the name of the business you own?
My husband and I own Art Jayroe, Certified Public Accountant. We've been there 37 years.
So you're good with numbers?
Yes.
See, she knew the 37 years, but you couldn't remember exactly how many years you've been mayor, but yet you're an accountant. My God.
It was a mental block there, I guess.
The irony drips off the radios collectively right now. So, speaking with the mayor, we're going to take a break here on Carolina Cares, come back and talk about the Little Mountain Reunion, an event that is such a cool thing, an interesting past, a brief hiatus. It came back. We're going to learn all about the Little Mountain Reunion, the cool things that are happening in less than a week for the Little Mountain Reunion coming up, speaking with the mayor of the town of Little Mountain. Stay with us. Carolina Cares is coming right back.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Carolina Cares. I'm Tyler Ryan, and today we're speaking about I don't know how to say it, a quintessential, perfect small town. I don't want to say small southern town. I think it's iconic for small town America. When you think of the towns that existed not too long ago, and they still do. The Little Mountain up in Newberry County. Speaking with Mayor Jayna Jayroe. Am I saying that right? I am.
Jayroe.
Right? Jayroe.
It's fun.
Jayroe.
There you go.
You think I'd know that? I've known you for a minute there, Mayor. My goodness gracious.
That's fine. With a name like Jayna Jayroe, I answer to just about anything.
It works. You stick with Mayor, you're just fine.
There you go.
No problem there. We're talking about you've been in business. You're the mayor. You drink the Kool-Aid. You live there. You have a business there with your husband. 37 years. Yes. You guys have been counting beans.
Yes.
As it were. You know where the phrase bean counting came from?
No, I do not.
So back in the day, ancient Greece, taxes actually were paid in beans. And so the folks who were the tax collectors would literally count beans, hence bean counter.
Oh.
And there you go. And that is why folks who crunch numbers are bean counters.
Oh, nice.
How about that for a Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Right? Good gosh. So what are some of the other small businesses? I know, and it's, a town of 200 people, but you still have got a pretty thriving little business district because you got a lot of cars that pass through.
We do.
A lot more than 200 cars a day go through Little Mountain.
Yes, we actually have a lot of traffic. We've had 3 new businesses open in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. One is called Podunk Holler.
Podunk Holler.
Yes.
Do tell me about Podunk Holler, and I must know.
It is a venue for artists and also some consignment shopping, but it's mostly beautiful handmade artwork. Outdoor welding items.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful big statues. It is just some gorgeous, beautiful stuff for sale at Podunk Holler. Then the section master's house, we now have a gift shop there called the Blue Piccadilly.
The Blue see, first of all, the names are the best part about the whole thing.
Yes.
The Podunk Holler and the Blue Piccadilly.
Yes.
Proceed.
And the Blue Piccadilly has different items for sale, mostly from different countries, Asia and Europe. They are just beautiful. Wow. And she has a whole section for men that is mostly UK, Scotland type things. It's just fantastic to look at.
Wow, that is, somebody turn off that phone. That is, who would think in a tiny little town in the middle of South Carolina, you could go buy yourself some European clothing. It doesn't.
Yes, and they're beautiful. It's just beautiful items that she's picked up from around the world, and she's brought them to Little Mountain for us, and it is a wonderful place to shop. We also added a dental office. We have Little Mountain Dentistry. And our dentist,
people got to brush their teeth.
That's right. And we have a fantastic dentist, Dr. Bobby McBride, who I can talk to for hours. He is just a wonderful, sweet person. And we're super glad to have him in town.
That's a lot. How many businesses do you think you have total? I know we can't mention them all during the show this morning, but I bet there's a good number.
7.
Really?
Yeah.
In a little town. I love that you can thrive, in that little area.
I worked very hard when I first became mayor to encourage more businesses. The thing about a community is you can't have just housing or just businesses. You have to have a balance.
Right.
So we already had a fantastic elementary school and a lot of nice houses, but we didn't have much activity going on economically. So I openly encourage the dental office and the new businesses, and I feel like it's working. I think our economy has improved, and as a result of that, we had a builder come in and build more houses. So we are up and coming, and I've tried very hard to hit that balance, the good village atmosphere, where you can stay there and shop and live and not have to drive away. And another thing we've done is we've done movies in the park.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
And it has been wonderful because we are absolutely blessed in Little Mountain to have a huge park, Reunion Park, which is wonderful, wonderful asset for us. With movies in the park, we've been able to have those in the summer for families. We only do the small children movies, everything rated G, everything for families. Yeah. And it gives young couples with small children a chance to bring their kids, have a night out without having to pay for a babysitter or drive to Irmo or drive to somewhere else in order to have a good time. And we've done free popcorn, free water, and it has been fantastic. I have had the best time with that. We've had a lot of kids, and of course the kids, sometimes they watch the movie, sometimes they just run around and play all night.
Sure.
And that's fine too. It has been a great experience. I've really enjoyed doing that.
Well, and you touched on it, but there is that balance of attracting people to town, but in a small town where there's 7 businesses, there's a commitment too. That, you're going to have to drive to Irmo if you want to go to Publix. You're going to have to if you want to go out to dinner at a big fancy restaurant. It's a commitment to live in Little Mountain, but I think that you make that draw attractive enough, and people will come. Well, I'd say by the 100, but I'd say by the 2s, maybe.
There you go. And that's fine with us. We actually have a Publix 5 miles away in Chapin.
Oh, perfect. See that?
Yeah, so it works out great. Yes.
What are your plans for expansion? Obviously, like you said, you want to keep that balance, that small town feel, but you obviously want to encourage economic growth. I mean, town needs to survive. There are certain bills that come due. Do you have a vision for Little Mountain? If you with the council and said, okay, we want to maybe expand a little, but is there kind of going to be like a cap on what exactly you want to do?
Yes, we actually would like to stick with mom and pop businesses. We have been offered large businesses to come in, and we've told them no.
Right.
And they were absolutely shocked, but I know. I was like, well, we want to stay with what we are. We want mom and pop. We would like to expand. We've expanded our town limits 3 times since I've been mayor. We would like to expand them a little more to include more family-oriented housing, and again, to expand along 76 and have more of opportunity for mom and pop businesses, which is what we feel is our main attraction, is that we can offer that.
Well, again, once again, Wikipedia has to be real, and you can tell me. It has Little Mountain as about 1.1 square mile. Is that about where? No,
we're bigger than that now. We have, like I said, we've taken in some property along 76 and along Highway 202 going towards the interstate. The interstate is going to be expanded from 4 lanes to 6 to our exit.
Okay.
So we're trying to get ready for that.
Right.
So not only is it going to change our interchange completely, but also it's going to increase our traffic.
And that's, I think that's a two-edged sword. You've got increased traffic, which means the increased problems, not that it's less safe, but, having a small town main street's a lot better than having cars zooming by.
Yes.
But the other side of that is, especially for the mom and pops, they're going to have a lot more exposure to draw people in and hopefully grow themselves because they've got a family to feed. That's why they're in business.
That's exactly right. And we were trying hard to figure out how to walk that tightrope where children can play on the street and ride their bikes without fear of getting run over.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we don't want to be so isolated that no one comes by and sees our businesses.
Cars go by, and it's just about, for me, I don't know, I don't live there, but it's a red amount.
Well, you'll have to come see us now. Right before the reunion, we have everything fixed up and ready to go.
Looking good.
The town looks gorgeous.
Speaking of the reunion, so the Little Mountain Town reunion, this dates back to 1882, from what I understand.
Yes.
So tell me, what is the reunion?
It was originally a Newberry College reunion. Newberry College at the time was small and trying to encourage more students. So they felt that if everyone got together and met other people who went to Newberry, they would say, oh, well, my children can go there, or my sister or my brother should go there because it's a great place. So it started as that. They would meet on the mountain.
Yep.
And have
the mountain
and have barbecue and talk. They would always have speeches from local politicians and the Newberry College president. And that went on until sometime in the 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they quit having it was mostly because of polio, fear of polio.
Okay.
And at the time, the government said, don't go to big crowds because they weren't sure exactly how polio was being spread.
Sure.
So they stopped having it then. And then in 1976, my father-in-law actually was the mayor, and he said, we should bring that back.
Bearing the lead. See, we were talking about you and your history, you being the mayor. Yeah, it's called bearing the lead.
Oh, sorry.
Mayor Jayroe from Little Mountain. Yeah, there we go. All right, go on.
So he and my mother-in-law decided that wouldn't it be nice to bring back the Little Mountain reunion for the 1976 centennial. Mm-hmm. So they brought it back, and it's been with us ever since.
Now, there was a brief time in 2012 when it stopped.
Yes, we had 2 years. Of hiatus there.
Right.
It was a conflict between the former mayor, hence former, and the town of Little Mountain.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it happens. And in the end, the reunion is a big deal, especially for our little town. So when I became mayor, that was one of the things I wanted to do, was to bring it back, and it's been going strong ever since.
Now, I shared with you before we started the show today. I moved to Columbia, Lexington, where I live, but to the Midlands in 2005, in May of 2005, and so at a radio station across the street, and one of the very first appearances I did was the Little Mountain reunion. I emceed the Friday night event and went back on Saturday, and I said, What's Little Mountain? Having been in Columbia for about a minute, it's like, what's Lake Murray? Yes, it was Little Mountain, and that was my first experience there. But the first time I ever had been to Little Mountain, really had gotten in the community, my first exposure to the Midlands really as a whole was doing the Little Mountain reunion, and it was such a cool event.
Oh, thank you. It's very family oriented. We have a wonderful time. It goes on all day. My children growing up in Little Mountain, they love the Little Mountain reunion more than Christmas. I mean,
now that's saying a lot, Mayor.
Yeah,
I love Christmas. I'm just saying.
They loved it. They had a ball. So it's. I feel it helps bring our community together. Right. It gives us a sense of structure and something for everyone to look forward to and enjoy.
So the Little Mountain reunion for this year, 2018, actually kicks off in just a few days. A Friday night at 7:00 is on the big stage right there. A band playing, and that's Noel Lindler, correct?
Yes, Noel Lindler and the Bankwalkers, featuring Brendan Roberts.
All right. And then on Saturday, so that's just an event. That's kind of just like an old just a little party. I say a street party, but I guess a park party.
Yes, a park party.
Reunion park.
We'll have food vendors and the beer wagon, rides for children. So it's always a lot of fun.
Okay, so the beer wagon. The beer wagons, you got to have a party in Little Mountain. Beer wagon.
That's it.
I love it. And then first thing on Saturday morning, the actual reunion begins, right? And you've got a whole day. What kind of events do you have planned for that?
The first thing we have is a running road race. We have the 5K and the 10K. Mm-hmm. We had a gentleman who helped us with this, who was great with this. He lived locally. He tragically died in his 40s at a tractor accident. Wow. So all the proceeds from this road race now go to the Glenn Sheely Memorial Scholarship Fund. And every year we give scholarships. 100% of the proceeds from the road race go to scholarships for our local high school kids.
That is fantastic.
This year we were able to give 3. We were super excited about it. So
That's great.
Yeah.
So that kicks off on Saturday, and then the parade at 10.
Yes, down US 76 in downtown Little Mountain.
Right, and that's going to be the Grand Marshals that we talked about are going to be the volunteer fire department there for Little Mountain, those brave men and women, the heroes, and I will say it. They sometimes say we're not, but they are. They truly are.
Our theme for the parade is homegrown heroes.
I love it. And then after that, it's just more of a party, right? Music.
Yes, we have speakings at 11. We'll have politicians, of course, since it's an election year.
Of course.
Of course. And then we'll have barbecue being sold by our Little Mountain Fire and Rescue.
Right.
And all proceeds from that will go to Little Mountain Fire and Rescue and the Mid-Carolina High School Band Boosters.
All right. And then I see also Shelby Ray. I'm a fan of Shelby Ray.
Are you? She's great.
Yeah, love Shelby Ray. She's playing at noon, Cash Money at 2, and then Jim Quicken and the Coastline at 7 o'clock. So this is a day long. I mean, you can start with the road race, and you're going to be there at about midnight on Saturday night.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially with that beer wagon.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, what is the cost to get into the reunion?
There is no cost.
See, I knew the answer to that question. I just like to hear it out loud. Now, the vendors, of course, it is to support and raise money for the scholarships and the fire department. So if you want to eat, of course, there's a cost for some of the food and the vendors and the beer wagon.
Yes.
But to come and just bring a lawn chair and listen to music and just enjoy the air. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you live in downtown Columbia, not there's anything wrong with the air in downtown Columbia, but it just smells a little different in Little Mountain.
That's it.
It truly, truly does. You go up there and you can breathe deep. There's no cars. You don't have any of that going on, right?
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Mayor, what's not an email, but a website address if somebody wants to learn about Little Mountain, the reunion, or maybe consider, hey, maybe I want to move my family to a nice, safe place. Maybe I'm tired of living in a place that I don't feel like my kids can roll down the street on a Saturday by themselves.
For the reunion, it's littlemountainreunion.info.
Okay.
And then if you go to littlemountainsc.gov, I think is our website. If you type in Little Mountain SC and you go past the Wikipedia page, usually the next hit is that's our website.
Please go past the Wikipedia page.
By the way, it's fine.
It's not even 1.1 miles anymore. So go past that.
I need to update it.
All right. The mayor of Little Mountain, South Carolina, Mayor Jayna Jayroe.
There you go.
Did I say it right?
It's Jayroe, but you're close. That's
Jayroe.
That's it. Jayroe. I know it's not spelled like it sounds.
Well, I'd vote for you if I lived there anyway.
Well, thank you.
There it is, Mayor. But details of the Little Mountain reunion happening starting Friday night and then all day, and I mean all day on Saturday. But what a cool little, just a little jewel we have just up the road, just outside of Newberry County, right there by Prosperity. Just a little slice of heaven, and that's a true story. I appreciate you joining us, Mayor.
Thank you very much for having me.
Carolina Cares, we'll be right back.
Knowing your breasts can save your life. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Carolina Cares, and I want to say thank you once again to Little Mountain Mayor Jayna Jayroe. I guess I said the honorable, right? The honorable mayor. There it is. Little Mountain, South Carolina, population 200 and a few more than that. But what truly a little jewel over there, just in Newberry County, kind of squinched in between Chapin and Newberry and Prosperity in that little town right there, just up 76. The Little Mountain reunion, once again, is kicking off this Friday night. It starts at 7 o'clock Friday night with a concert. We'll get you going. And then on Saturday morning, bright and early, with the 5 and 10K road race. That begins at 7 a.m. Then the speakers, the traditional speakings, and that's where some of the fine folks who, if you didn't know, may be running for office, looking for your vote. So they'll be speaking for a couple of minutes on Saturday. And then the music starts, the food starts, Shelby Ray, Cash Money, Jim Quick, and the Coastline. Just a whole lot of fun. And that, by the way, is free. Do bring some money if you get hungry. And the beer wagon is there as well. Don't forget about that. You do want to bring a few dollars for that. But short of that, this is a free event. You can bring a lawn chair, bring the family. Just come in and enjoy the music, the fun, the fellowship, and check out Little Mountain. Again, population 200 and something like that. I guess 7 businesses. But what a sweet little iconic small town America place to check out. So we'll put links for you right there at Carolina Cares on our WVOC website as well. If you have someone you'd like to nominate or would like to be a guest on Carolina Cares, you can drop me an email, TylerRyan@iHeartMedia.com. Once again, this has been Carolina Cares, an iHeartMedia production. My name is Tyler Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next Carolina Cares Sunday.